In this prison, child predators are forced to stand for 16 hours a day, while in this other prison, there's hardly any space for them to lie down. Child predators are amongst the most hated criminals, and their stay in prison is as inhumane as their crimes. From hardly getting a chance to shower, to beatings from guards and inmates, these prisons are notorious for their treatment of child predators. Black Dolphin Prison. Deep in the heart of Russia, near the border with Kazakhstan, lies a fortress of despair, a place where hope is as scarce as daylight during winter. Welcome to Black Dolphin Prison, a name that belies the darkness within its walls. Here, behind a facade adorned with a sculpture of a black dolphin, resides a collection of humanity's most feared and reviled individuals. Murderers, terrorists, cannibals, and child molesters call this place home, each serving a life sentence in one of the oldest and most secure penitentiaries in Russia. Here, the concept of escape is nothing but a fleeting dream, for the only exit is through the embrace of dying. The architecture of Black Dolphin Prison is a testament to its purpose. The facility is a web of concrete and steel, designed not just to confine but to intimidate. The cells of Black Dolphin are designed to be a world unto themselves, a solitary universe for each inmate. Measuring just 2 by 3 meters, these cells are equipped with a toilet, a sink, and a cot. The walls are painted a drab color, a constant visual monotone that mirrors the bleak existence of its occupants. Each cell is secured not by one, but by a set of 3 steel doors, creating a buffer between the prisoners and the outside world, a series of barriers that reinforce their isolation. The prison's capacity is approximately 700 inmates, each one serving a life sentence for heinous crimes. The rules within Black Dolphin are as rigid as the steel bars that crisscross its windows. Inmates must respond to all commands with a deferential, "Yes, sir," a verbal acknowledgement of their subjugation. The level of surveillance is intense, with guards making rounds every 15 minutes, 24 hours a day. The eyes of the prison are always watching, ensuring that the rules are followed to the letter. Inmates are under constant scrutiny, their every move observed, their every word listened to. This unending vigilance is a psychological weight that bears down on the prisoners, a reminder that they are never alone, never unwatched. The daily routine for inmates at Black Dolphin is one of regimented monotony. They are woken up at 6 in the morning and are not permitted to rest or sit on their bunks until it is time to sleep again at 10 at night. They are forced to stand for 16 hours a day, forbidden from resting on their bunks, their every movement monitored and regulated. The daily life of an inmate at Black Dolphin is a grim affair. They are fed soup 4 times a day, a monotonous diet that provides sustenance but little else. Their only possessions are books, newspapers, and a radio, small comforts in a world devoid of comfort. The exercise they are afforded is a mere 90 minutes a day, spent in a large cage where they can stretch their legs while their cells are searched for contraband. The arrival of new inmates at Black Dolphin is an exercise in sensory deprivation. They are blindfolded, ensuring that they cannot map the prison's layout or entertain any thoughts of escape. This practice continues whenever they are transported between buildings, a measure designed to keep them disoriented and compliant. The method of escorting inmates within Black Dolphin is unique and speaks volumes about the level of control exerted over the prison's population. Prisoners are made to walk bent over at the waist, their handcuffed hands held high behind their backs, a position that renders them powerless and vulnerable. It is a form of escort that maximizes control while stripping the inmate of any semblance of dignity or autonomy. This prison is a nightmare for child predators. Klong Prem Central Prison, deep within the heart of Bangkok, a city known for its vibrant streets and cultural tapestry, lies a facility that starkly contrasts the world outside its walls. Here, in one of Thailand's most notorious prisons, a harrowing reality unfolds daily. This is a place where the air is thick with despair, where diseases run rampant, and where the sheer number of inmates defies the bounds of capacity. Amidst this overcrowded chaos, a unique social dynamic emerges, one that includes the lives of ladyboys, a group that adds complexity to an already intricate prison society. It is in this facility, Klong Prem Central Prison, where child predators in Thailand are incarcerated. Imagine a place where the walls close in on you, where the very air you breathe is a luxury that's hard to come by. This is the reality for the inmates of Bangkok's most infamous prison, a place where overcrowding isn't just a problem, it's a crisis. The cells, designed to hold a fraction of their current occupants, are bursting at the seams. Men are packed together so tightly that the concept of personal space is nothing but a distant dream. The cells have transformed into cramped quarters where inmates are packed like sardines, with barely enough room to lie down. The stifling air is heavy with the stench of sweat and human excrement, as the facilities are woefully inadequate for the overwhelming population. The lack of ventilation and natural light creates an environment where bacteria and viruses thrive. spreading illness like wildfire through the overcrowded population. Tuberculosis, a disease long thought to be under control, has found a resurgence within these walls, its airborne nature turning each cough into a potential death sentence for those nearby. The close quarters make social distancing an impossible dream, and the spread of respiratory infections is rampant. The prison's medical facilities are stretched beyond their limits, with too few doctors and nurses to tend to the burgeoning needs of the inmates. The prison's sanitation system is another victim of the overcrowding. Toilets, few and far between, are in a perpetual state of disrepair, and the sewage system is overwhelmed. The resulting filth not only assaults the senses, but also contributes to the spread of gastrointestinal diseases, which can be particularly deadly in such an environment. According to reports, a hole in the floor of the cramped cells is for human waste. The overcrowding also leads to an increase in violence and stress among the prison population. With tensions running high and personal space at a premium, conflicts are frequent, and the resulting injuries often go untreated, leading to infections and complications that add to the already heavy disease burden. The prison guards, outnumbered and often indifferent to the plight of the inmates, do little to alleviate the conditions. Corruption is rife, with basic necessities available only to those who can pay, further entrenching the disparity between the haves and the have-nots. This system of bribery and extortion only serves to deepen the despair of those without means as they watch helplessly while others secure better food, medicine, and even protection from the guards. In this hellish environment, the human spirit is tested to its limits. The inmates, stripped of their dignity and humanity, are reduced to mere survival. The overcrowding not only robs them of their freedom but also of their health, as the prison becomes a petri dish for diseases that are as much a part of the incarceration as the bars on the cell windows. Dooley State Prison. Nestled in the heart of Unadilla, Georgia, stands Dooley State Prison, a name that has become synonymous with chilling controversies that have shaken the very foundations of the Georgia Department of Corrections. This medium security bastion, tasked with housing sex offenders, has been marred by allegations that range from inmate abuse to harrowing lawsuits, and even ensnared in the web of an FBI sting operation. In the late 1990s, just a few years after Dooley State Prison opened its gates, the facility was already embroiled in a scandal that would set a precedent for the years to come. In 1996, a group of 11 brave souls, inmates of Dooley, decided to take a stand against what they described as a series of egregious violations of their human rights. They filed a lawsuit that would send ripples through the prison system, accusing the guards at Dooley State Prison of engaging in what can only be described as sadistic and degrading abuse. The allegations were grave and painted a picture of a correctional facility that had become a house of horrors for those within its walls. The prisoners' testimonies alleged that the guards took pleasure in their suffering, subjecting them to cruel and unusual punishment that would leave lasting scars, both physical and emotional. The lawsuit aimed to shed light on the dark corners of Dooley State Prison, where power and authority had allegedly been twisted into tools of torment. As the case unfolded, it became a battleground for the rights of inmates versus the sweeping powers of prison authorities. The lawsuit brought to the forefront the harsh reality of life behind bars, where inmates, often stripped of their dignity, faced a daily struggle to maintain their humanity against overwhelming odds. The legal battle that ensued was not just about seeking retribution for wrongs done. It was a fight to affirm that even those who have made mistakes against society still deserve to be treated with basic human decency. However, the legal battle these inmates faced was an uphill one, filled with legislative hurdles. The passage of the Prison Litigation Reform Act became a pain in the neck in their pursuit of justice. This act, passed in the mid-1990s, was designed to curtail the number of lawsuits filed by prisoners. It stipulated that no federal civil action could be brought by a prisoner for mental or emotional injury suffered while in custody without a prior showing of physical injury. This piece of legislation became the heart of the defense's argument, a shield against the prisoner's claims of psychological torture. So, without physical evidence, the prisoner's claims of mental and emotional abuse could not be recognized in the federal court. Apart from mistreating the inmates, in February 2016, the institution was thrust into the national headlines as part of a sweeping FBI sting operation that exposed a network of corruption within the Georgia state prison system. Dooley State Prison was one of 9 facilities implicated in the operation, which culminated in the indictment of 46 correctional officers on federal charges. The FBI raid revealed a clandestine operation where contraband such as cell phones, weapons, and drugs had infiltrated the prison, much of it smuggled in by the very individuals tasked with upholding the law. 10 employees of Dooley State Prison were among those indicted, casting a shadow of doubt over the integrity of the facility's staff and the security measures in place. The sting operation was a damning indictment of the systemic issues plaguing the prison, where the lines between law enforcement and criminality had been blurred. The fallout from the FBI operation was significant, prompting a re-evaluation of prison policies and personnel. It served as a wake-up call to the Georgia Department of Corrections, highlighting the need for stringent oversight and ethical conduct within its ranks.